The Guardian Legend is the kind of NES subject that gets flattened into a quick label, hidden gem, import oddity, rare cartridge, or cult classic. That label is useful for a title, but it is not enough for a real OmegaVG video. The real hook is overhead exploration, corridor shooter stages, weapon upgrades, maze routing, and a genre switch that feels too ambitious for an ordinary NES cartridge. This breakdown is about the mechanics, the search gap, and the reason this game can still earn attention now instead of feeling like another recycled retro pick. The search gap.
It's a trap!
The Guardian Legend is not a random obscurity pick for OmegaVG. The search hook is clear. The game appears in hidden gem lists, but fewer videos clearly explain how the exploration and shooter halves feed each other. That makes it useful for a long-form slot because the viewer can understand the promise quickly. This is not just a review of an NES game, it is an explanation of the design problem people usually skip. The headline mechanic is overhead exploration, corridor shooter stages, weapon upgrades, maze routing, and a genre switch that feels too ambitious for an ordinary NES cartridge. That is visual enough for footage, specific enough for chapters, and strange enough to avoid sounding like another generic retro list entry. The goal is to make the footage prove the argument, why the Guardian Legend works, where it fights back, and why the topic still has room on YouTube.
This is where the fun begins.
The core stem. The first thing to understand is that the game uses exploration to make shooter upgrades matter, then uses shooter corridors to make the map feel like a sequence of locks and tests. That gives the video a mechanical center instead of a nostalgia center. Every clip should answer one question: what does the player know here that a first-time viewer would miss? In practice, that means slowing down the moments where the game looks obvious. A jump, swing, part choice, route, branch, or attack can carry more information than the screen initially admits.
Hello there.
Once that layer is visible, the Guardian Legend stops being a trivia subject and becomes a design case study. What players misread? The common misread is simple. It is easy to pitch the game as Zelda plus shmup, but the useful analysis is how the two halves trade information, power, and pacing. That is where the narration needs to be sharper than a normal retrospective. The video should separate the meme, reputation, or collector story from the system actually running underneath.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
This is also where the stingers help. The movie clips work best after a clean sentence, when the commentary lands a point, and the cutaway acts like a reaction instead of interrupting the explanation. The joke should never replace the explanation. It should give the viewer a breath before the next mechanic arrives. Route and logic. Routing matters because the route is a loop of finding chips, weapons, keys, and corridors, then spending that power at a shooting stage that opens another section of the maze.
Say hello to my little friend!
That lets the edit move beyond here is gameplay and into here is why this decision matters. A good source clip is not just clean footage, it is evidence for the sentence. The best rhythm is to show the problem, name the rule, then show the consequence. That keeps the video explanatory even when the game itself is visually chaotic. By the midpoint, viewers should understand the game's internal logic well enough to predict the next mistake before it happens. Why it fits OmegaVG.
Very bad feeling about this.
The Guardian Legend fits the channel because it has a visible hook, a niche search lane, and enough mechanical texture to reward close watching. The channel should not chase broad retro nostalgia when a narrower mechanical angle can be owned more convincingly. This topic gives the title and the explanation the same job. The graphics package should reinforce that. Title card, safe lower third, source label, subtitles, and a clean HUD that frames the footage without pretending to be the point. When the edit is working, the viewer should feel like they are being taught how to see the game, not simply being told that it is underrated.
Come with me if you want to live.
It's okay.
The history hook. The history angle matters too. It comes from compiled shooter vocabulary colliding with NES adventure expectations before genre hybrids had a stable language. History is strongest here when it explains the design rather than replacing it. Release timing, platform context, developer identity, or import status should all point back to what is happening on screen. That is especially useful for search visibility because viewers often arrive through the big historical question and stay for the mechanical answer.
Mac! Mac! Get Ramirez on his feet, get to the...
The script should treat context as a bridge into analysis, not a detour away from it, where it fights back. The honest caveat is that some navigation is opaque, weapon balance is uneven, and a maze can blur together without a strong mental map. Naming that friction makes the video stronger. A polished OmegaVG explainer does not need to pretend every cult game is secretly perfect. The better argument is that the rough parts reveal the shape of the experiment. Sometimes the awkwardness is a flaw, sometimes it is the cost of an idea the genre had not fully solved yet. That distinction is what separates a useful breakdown from a fan defense. Modcern Revisit? The modern reason to revisit it is that today it connects cleanly to Metroidvania and roguelite audiences because the upgrade route is easier to recognize as a linked system.
I am your father.
That gives the ending more weight than a simple recommendation. The video can connect old mechanics to current viewer vocabulary without forcing a fake influence claim. Modern players do not need to love every second of the game to understand why it matters. They need the edit to make the old design legible. That is exactly the slot OmegaVG can fill: retro footage, current explanation, and a title focused tightly enough to compete. The Tacolite. The strongest pitch is not that the Guardian legend is hidden, rare, or weird. The strongest pitch is that it gives us a specific design language to explain. If the viewer leaves knowing how to read one mechanic better than before, the video has done more than summarize a game. That is why this belongs in the second slate. It is a fresh subject with a focused niche, a clickable title, and enough visual evidence to carry a long-form edit. For OmegaVG, the move is simple. Own the underexplained mechanic, keep the pacing clean, and let the footage make the case. So, the final pitch is this. The Guardian legend is worth covering because the design can be explained clearly. The footage has something to teach, and the niche is still open enough for OmegaVG to own.